What's up, guys? It's Jim with Awaken TCG, bringing you guys a One Piece TCG sim video today. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of early access to the OP09 decks, which come out in the East very, very soon. And if you cannot already see on screen, today we're going to be trying out a Nico Robin, which is definitely, out of the 6 new leaders, probably the one I'm looking the most forward to. Definitely a pretty insane leader effect with Banish just slapped onto the leader. Kind of similar to Yamato, but I would argue that Banish is a little bit stronger. So with that being said, if you don't know what Robin does, she just has Banish, and then when you attack, you can actually discard a trigger type card from your hand and then gain an Rested Dawn, which means you can play bigger stuff on the next turn. So kind of mixing the triggers from yellow and the big bodies from purple to create this leader with also just Banish, because why not? I've been having a lot of fun, but let's run through the deck list real quick. So for the most part, I'm running a very large trigger package, as obviously I'm going to need trigger cards if I'm going to utilize my leader effect. So first up here, we are definitely using this new card, which is Dereshi. It is when Saul and Robin were laughing in the Ohara flashback. But this is just going to be a 3-cost event that is going to be look at the top 5 cards of your deck and then add 2 cards with trigger to your hand and return the rest of the bottom in any order. So kind of like a 3-Don Sanji's Pilaf, except we can actually choose what 2 cards we are searching out. So that can be a whole lot of our 2Ks, right? We can search out Beige with this card. We can search out this new Nico Olivia. We can even search out this new Robin, which actually has a trigger effect and a very strong on-play effect. So very, very good card that is going to definitely hold this deck together. But let's go ahead and get into the rest of these cards. So besides those 2Ks, which we already went over, this one just is so insane. You basically have Shirahoshi effect on trigger, which is draw 3, trash 2. And then the on-play effect is insane as well. Buffing your leader and allowing you to get those really big Banish swings is very good. This Professor Clover is okay. It's just an extra trigger card with 2K. That is a searcher if you really want it to be. This one, though, I'm really never playing out. We have the Beige, obviously. If we're playing a yellow deck, Beige is always going to be great. This is going to save us in a lot of scenarios. Also, searchable 2Ks are always nice. And then just 2 of Kozuki Hiyori, just because with so many triggers, putting them into life is sometimes a really, really good play. But the idea of this deck is to basically deny our opponent hand advantage and take their life. So with that being said, we have Jewelry Bonnie right here, which is perfect for this deck, as when you attach 1 Dawn, if you use any of your effects that can take your opponent's life, this card is going to draw us 2 and allow us to trash 1, which is really good because trashing 1 with leader effect puts us down in cards by a pretty solid amount a lot of the time. So having this extra draw power is really nice to have. Then we also have the new Egghead Nami from OP08, which is just a really solid card. This card is really good in general, but with all the triggers in this deck, this always has a target for the most part. And if we're low on cards in hand, we do get the actually cycle off of it, as we do trash a trigger and then draw a new card that we might want even more. So let's see what else we have here. We actually have the new 4-cost Kuzan. This card is pretty much strictly for faster decks, which drop a lot lower Dawn cards, say like a Zoro. This can actually put one of their characters into life and then followed up with forcing them to trash a card. So removal and hand disruption in one. This card is really good early if you can see it against the decks you need to see it against. Otherwise, it's just a 1K against any other deck. And then another new card here is going to be the 6-cost Nico Robin, which is just going to trash one of your opponent's life cards if they have 3 or more life cards. Very good card. That is just going to deny them cards from life even more. Love this card a lot. It is a lot of fun and is even a counter in hand if you do not want it. Because, right, when there are less than 3 cards in life, you're going to actually never want to play this card. So it turns into a counter at that point in time. And then the trigger, playing a 3-cost from hand is decent. We can play a Bonnie from hand if you want, or even a Charlotte Brulé 3-cost, which is another trigger that you can search out. Searchable blocker, not that bad. And next up, let's get into our big bodies. We have 6-cost Charlotte Linlin. This card is so good in this deck. Denying your opponent cards is the name of the game for this deck, and this card is doing it to the max, because they are either critting a life or they're giving you 2 cards out of hand. I'd say the right answer is always to crit a life, but sometimes that is going to put them in a position where they could possibly die next turn or even that turn. So this card is really good, and also going first, you can immediately ramp to this card on the next turn if you ramp with leader. Next up, we have another Charlotte Linlin. Going to be the 7-cost Linlin, which is another great card, allowing us to get another card in life for a good trigger effect, or even just crit one of our opponent's life if they are feeling a little frisky. So great card with a great stat line, which works perfect in this leader for sure, and our best card to ramp to if we're going second and use leader effect on our first win attacking turn. You can play this on the next turn. So next up, another Charlotte Linlin. We've got the Linlin Supreme with the trio of Linlins, all great cards. This one is going to allow us to always heal, and then also remove one of our opponent's characters off of their board in the same instance. Really great card. Playing this one the least, as it is 9 cost. Sometimes the game is almost over by the time we get here, but if we're playing a little slower, this is really nice to have. And then just going to go over 2 more cards here. We have 8-drop Katakuri. Really good against certain matchups. A lot of good 8 costs in this meta, so having this card just to check that, or even add stuff back to your life. Say a Olivia that you played early in the game to get some power on your leader, you can turn it into a draw 3 trash 2 right off of trigger, which is very nice. Or maybe even a Nico Robin if you want to put this into life and then play out a Charlotte Brule from your hand, or even a Bonnie, right? There's a lot of good targets for Katakuri in this deck to heal yourself or to remove something off board for your opponent. And last but not least here, we have 6-cost Zoro with Banish. This one is a little bit interesting. It is not the best card ever, but it does allow us a large body with counter. Also, I think the 6-cost characters are very good in this deck, as you usually want to go first and then ramp to these and play them on the next turn. So having multiple threats with Banish is really annoying for a lot of decks. So if you can get this out early against like a yellow deck, he's a menace. With that being said though, guys, let's go ahead and get into some gameplay. And it looks like we're going to be going against another new deck here in Red Shanks. This leader, in my experience, is a really rough matchup for Robin, as a leader with a defensive ability like Shanks is a really good matchup into a leader with Banish, because now my 5k swings are pretty inconsequential and you get free counter every turn. So not to mention 5 life, but let's see what we can do. So he's going to choose to go second. With this hand, I'm probably going to mulligan. Do not want that. And we do see the Darashi on 3, which is really good against most matchups, as you can swing 5, force a counter, and then use this. However, in this matchup, as I was saying, you cannot do that because he has a free counter out of 5k swing. So we could use leader effect here, but I'm not seeing a 6 cost that we can actually play into. So I'm not going to use leader effect. Just swing 8 right now. Let's see what he decides to do. This is either leader effect 2k, 1k, but he is going to take, and that is going to be a 4-drop Uta, which is kind of interesting. I'm not really sure, besides obviously lore reasons why we're playing this card. But for Fordon on Shanks, you don't have that many great plays. The Lucky Roo is not added to the sim yet, so he will not be playing that. Looks like we're just going to be swinging 6, and if we do that, I'm probably just going to 2k out. Want to basically protect life at all costs, as I don't want to be in a position where I'm trying to live against a Roger or something in the late game. So with that being played, I kind of wish we had a Kuzan in hand. We do not. So we are just going to swing 7, and we'll play the Darashi from hand. So he could do leader effect and a 2k off of Baccarat, which would be pretty annoying. And there it is, going to convert a Kid and Killer into a 1k counter, it looks like here, or a 2k counter off Baccarat, and then you just use leader effect. So pretty solid there. And then we'll use the Darashi looking at the top 5, and that is a very rare single target find. So really rough top 5 there. You usually don't see that. The majority of the hands I'm seeing off those top 5 are 2 to 3, sometimes even 4 triggers. So that was really rough. And then he's actually going to swing 7 here, which we could counter out of. Or we could take, but I think I want to counter out of this. Again, just kind of playing it as safe as possible right now. We could swing big, but I think playing Linlin here is just better. He will probably heal us, if I had to guess. Going down to 3 is a little risky after I just played an AK, but he actually does, and he's going to trash the Shanks, which you love to see, because if he did not already have it in hand, he was going to play this next turn and pretty much completely ruin our day. Now, at this point in time, he could do something like a minus power to Big Mom and then a Beckman. That would be really good. Definitely not something I'd want to deal with, but let's see what he decides to do. Shanks has a lot of good cards for every curve. I'm honestly completely surprised by the power of this leader. I think he's a lot better than I was expecting. So he's actually going to go ahead and then go an 8 at leader, giving -1 to the Big Mom here. Not in KO range for the Beckman yet. We're actually going to use the Beige Trigger effect to make sure his leader can attack right now. If he was going to play something like another Yasop, he is not getting value, at least on the attacking turn, from that plus power. So this deck is definitely a yellow deck. There's no doubt about it. A lot of triggers, and that is a lot of blockers. So question is, am I playing Katakuri or am I playing Big Mom? And I think, honestly, I would rather play another Big Mom because I have more Dawn to attach. Definitely scarier to put some pressure on. So we're going to swing 8 at the Yasop. Just kind of put some pressure on. If he does not counter out of this, I'm probably just going to go lead. Want to swing into 5K. Swinging to 6K would be a little rough. So he's going to just go ahead and do a 2K. Was that Baccarat effect? I'm actually not sure. But looks like he's going to do leader effect as well there, which means we do not have to worry about leader effect right now. So I'm just going to go 7 lead. I could go 7 at Yasop, but that only requires a 2K. I'd rather force him to give me 2 cards or like that, take a life. Another weird card. Not sure why we're playing that. Following up with the Big Mom. If he takes a life here, he is definitely living on the edge. No doubt about that. But this is the power of this deck, right? Completely denying our opponent of cards. I think we actually crit every single one of his life. And with 3 blockers on board, he's actually not in the scariest of spots. I'm definitely seeing a Shanks in my future right now. There is no doubt about that. So going to protect this life at all costs, or else I'm in a really rough spot. But let's hope this is an Onami trigger or something like that. I don't know if I'll take the 5K. I don't really want to give him a 0 cost for anything like that. And that is going to be a Beige. Unfortunately, he did not play the Shanks on the board just yet. Probably should have countered out. But you live and you learn. So we are going to... Oh, he's actually going to play a Roger. Okay, so... And swinging to the Big Mom here. We will give him that. Do not really care too much about that. We're just going to do our game plan here. Playing out another 7 cost. Let's see if he decides to crit life here. If he does, we will definitely just be going face. And then pretty much hoping for a trigger to save us on this next turn. Which is kind of what you have to do. Shanks is a really rough matchup, especially when he plays 3 blockers down. So he's definitely thinking about this one. And he is going to give us the life, which makes me think he does not have the counter in hand. So with that being said, I'm just going to go, I think, 8 at the Yasop here. We'll see what he decides to do. Obviously, he has a free 2K from this. Maybe not free. You do have to give me a card out of hand, but he can just 2K with whatever he has and then free 1K with lead. If he does do that, I will probably be swinging 8 into leader after that, which might be the wrong choice because it allows him to leave this Yasop up or just leave blockers up. But regardless, this is minimum 1 card out of hand, which looks like he is going to do. Following up with leader effect there. So again, I could go into lead or I could go into Yasop. He already used leader effect, but I'm probably getting a blocker here anyway, so I'm just going to go 8 lead. He's going to give us the Baccarat instead of these, which is kind of weird to me. But, you know, you do what you do. So now on 10 Dawn, if you play like another Roger or another Shanks, I'm in a really rough spot. 2 blockers that I can't really deal with are a problem. There's no doubt. And minusing the power here is probably meaning Beckman. And if it is a Beckman, I really don't know how I'm winning this, realistically. Because he's definitely swinging into this. Going to stall me out a bit. I'll probably put the Beckman into life, but not a great spot. Definitely not a great spot. So this Roger is probably swinging here. He'll swing at lead first. I'll just take that one. Because if he does leave this Big Mom on board, he is playing with fire for sure. I will use that trigger. I'm going to trash... Ooh, I like the Big Mom here. I'm going to trash Kata, and I'm going to trash the Darashi for sure. Just trying to get non-counter out of hand as much as possible. Most he can do here is another 6 and then a 13. I will counter out of the 6 and then definitely take the 13. But he is going to go 13 in a Big Mom, which I did expect. And this is probably just going to be a 6k at lead, which is completely fine with me. So we're going to go ahead and counter out with Clover here. Could have countered out with Beige, but honestly want him to think that I can possibly have another one. So let's go ahead and go 6 at lead right now. Leader effect is not enough. You need to give me a blocker, which is why I don't know why he got rid of Baccarat. So this is going to need to be a 1k if he does have it. And he actually does. That was a 2k, so leader effect actually didn't matter. We're going to do one Dawn here, trashing one of the Bonnies right now, and then we are going to put the Yasop to life, as that is actually our only option. So gonna do that there. It still has 2 blockers. Very menacing board. Again, not really sure how I'm getting out of this. Situations like this kind of make me want to run a Maru, but even then I couldn't win without a rush card. We might just try to go into board next turn, starve him out a bit, if that is at all possible, but let's see what he top decked. If that is a 10-drop Shanks, I imagine this game is quite over. But we'll have to see. He's definitely thinking about this one here. I honestly don't think there's a whole lot to think about. If I think face is the place, that's really all you got to think about. There's no bodies we can actually get off of life, other than if we got a Nico Robin trigger, we can actually play this Bonnie out of hand, which would not be too bad. But other than that, he's actually going to start swinging with his blockers, which is a little scary, but I'm going to have to take here and hope for some triggers, honestly. So, yeah, if he's going to do that, I might have a chance. I just need... I can't actually rush. So do I take this one? I think I do. We do get the Bonnie. So I'll draw 2 trash. Definitely getting rid of this Lin. It's our only non-counter right now. And then we have to counter out of the Shanks and the Beckman. Or sorry, we just need to counter out of one of these. Am I doing that math right? Yeah. Take the Roger. And then we can take one more. So that is going to be 7. We will definitely be countering out of that. We will get rid of this. I think we'll get rid of the Bonnie here. We actually need to counter out of both. I did that completely wrong. But we still do have the counter. He's going to go 9 and then 13. So we will counter out of this 9 and then take the 13. So obviously, again, don't know if there's a way to win this. If I was him, oh, I actually got the Robin, but no character in hand to actually play. So yeah, we have lost this match, unfortunately. There was nothing to do here, so that's just going to be GG. And going to be playing against RP Luffy here. Very interesting matchup. And I'm actually going to choose to go second because I kind of want to play stuff on curve like this Darashi and then be able to swing into lead, which I think is going to be very annoying for him. So he's going to be playing the new Law on the first turn, which is a great card. As soon as I saw this, I was like, I'm pretty much immediately playing this in Luffy. He's going to grab a 2K, which is very nice to know for us. We actually don't have anything to play on 2, which is pretty normal for this deck. There is really not a lot to play. And he's also playing the Nami. So I don't know about playing both of these. I'd probably only play one or the other, because I think 4 searchers for the same archetype is a little overkill. Like, yeah, you're dropping all these on board, but they're not really doing much besides letting me know your entire hand right now. So he is going to swing 7, which I think we're going to counter out of. Yeah, we'll get rid of this Kata. Kata is okay, but he's not great, especially right now. So we'll swing 6. We'll choose the not use leader effect. Want to keep as many cards as I can. He's actually going to take. Wow. I do not know why he took that. Maybe he didn't know I was banish. Definitely not what I would have done, so, but I'll take it. So at this point, again, at 4 life still, he's going to play the Bon Clay, which honestly I don't really care about. And then go 8 to lead. That is completely fine. Yeah, we do get the Beige, which is honestly why I did not want to deal with that. So we could go 6, play Nami, or I could just attach all to lead, make him take another life, which I think is going to be my play. I don't have anything big to play, unfortunately. Hoping for a 7 mom or something along those lines on the next turn. And I think he's realizing now that he does not want to take another free life to trash. I'm putting in a position where he is going to lose very quickly if he does not counter out, but he's actually going to give me triple 2K. You'd love to see that. We know one of these is that Luffy, so he's definitely playing that this turn, and then we're going to have to counter out of this 6K from leader. So probably just going to swing 6 and then 10. I don't think there's much to think about, but he's actually going to use an All-Stars. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I would have much rather played a 9-drop, draw a card, and swung 10. You can keep playing these Bon Clays, but I'm probably just not going to give a shit. So yeah, I'll swing to lead again. And I think we're going to go with that. So unfortunately this doesn't do anything, which kind of sucks. I'm not going to lie. I could play the Nami this turn. Oof. I don't know. I really don't. This is kind of an awkward hand to be honest. I don't want these Bon Clays to be online. I really don't. I'm just going to go a lot to lead. Make him give me whatever that is. That it was another 2K. Very nice to see. And then on Tendon here, these guys are just sitting useless, which we love to see. And then on Tendon, if you have the Luffy, you can play it. Get rid of this whole board. These guys really didn't do anything. But yeah, he's going to play the 9 cost, which means we have to deal with a 10K and a 7K. So we are going to just probably counter out of the 7K and take the 10. And if we see a decent trigger... Oh, wait. Yeah, he can actually ramp. I didn't think about that. Or maybe I thought he would leave 1 Dawn up. Pretty risky move from him. So he'll go 10. We will take... Ooh... No real targets to play, unfortunately, off of that. Wish we had a Bonnie. Would definitely have played it. But we did not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him... I'm literally playing no cards this game, but I think this is the right play. I just don't want these two to be online. He'll take the Zoro and go down to 0. You could play like a 9 mom to heal life. That would be pretty good. Looks like he is going to play a Law, though. Rip both of my Robins out of hand. Thank you very much. Because I did not want to see those. So we can pop this Law with the Onami next turn. So let's try our best to keep it in hand. And then we'll probably be playing this Nico Olivia to swing big with the rest of our Dawn. So if he drops another blocker, we can't win. But if this is only blocker, we are going to be going for game. So yeah, that is his only blocker. So going to attach to the Law here. 8K we will most definitely be taking. Going to be going 7K. That is going to be an easy 2 and a 1. And then going to be taking this 10 as we get a Linlin to hand. So the turn I was talking about is here. He has no Dawn up. So this is most likely going to be game. We're going to trash the Darashi, kill the Law. Play the Olivia to buff our leader. And rest on lead, that is going to be a 12. So I don't even know if you can have that much counter right now. And he does not. So definitely a very weird game. There's no doubt about that. But we're going to get into our last game here. And getting into our last match. Looks like we're going against Red and Blue Marco. So do not love this opener. And I'm just going to mulligan. Oof. That is a interesting hand, to say the least. And going second, we actually have the Charlotte Linlin on our next turn, or we can play the 6 cost. So let's counter out of this 5. I'll get rid of one of these Bonnies because I'm probably going to want to play one on the next turn. Ooh, or I can play the Darishi. So let's see. What does this even do? You may return this character to your hand. Look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Place them in any order on the top or bottom of your deck. So it's like Worst Flamingo. I'm not sure why he's playing this. Probably because it's searchable. Other than that, though, I really don't agree with doing that. So we'll swing 6. I don't think we want to use leader effect here. I'm gonna, because we do have the 6 on next turn regardless. He does have a 2K, so we will do the Darishi here, grabbing a Beige and another 2K to hand. So passing back to him now on 5 Dawn. With this, you're probably playing the 5 cost Ace package if I had to guess. I don't really think there's any reason to run this otherwise. So there goes leader effect. He does actually not have a target for it. So just doing the cycle portion. Wondering if he's going to swing with this ace. Yes, he is. So he's going to go 7 twice. So we will actually take the first one. We do get a Clover trigger, which I'm going to activate. Look at the top 3. We do get the 0 cost event or a Darishi. I'm going to grab the 0 cost because we have a lot of cards in hand that I might not end up playing. He'll bounce ace to hand. Looking at the top 5, that is a pretty interesting card because you get the counter back to hand too. Kind of cool. I'm not going to lie. I think that's a cool card. And then from here, we're probably just giving the Bonnie and the Professor Clover. Or maybe the Beige, yeah. Because he knows we have Beige. Might as well get it out of hand because at least Professor Clover does something. If we were to play this, I don't think we are. But it can actually do something when in hand. So we will keep it for the time being. Now looking at the top 5 for him. Maybe setting up like a 9-drop Sanji play, which is a little scary. But we're going to force him to give us a counter and then either a life or 2 cards from hand, which is usually going to be a life. So we'll give him the Beige and the Bonnie as we were saying. And just going 5 right now. I want to play the 7 cost and swing big. He's going to give us that ace, and then we will use the 6 mom, getting rid of the other one because we're playing this, and then probably into this. So he is going to give us the life, which is always the right answer, in my opinion. Obviously, better to get rid of 1 card than 2. So, but you know, when you get low, getting rid of a life is very, very dangerous. So he'll go leader effect here. 6 Dawn. I don't know if there's a card that can get rid of a 5K. There probably is, yeah. So we'll go. We'll take. I'm not really that scared of Marco, to be honest. Yeah, because there's the 5-drop. Really could care less about that. And we do get another 6-drop. So I'm going to go 7 here. Make this very annoying for him. As he does give me a 2 and a 1. And then we're actually going to play another 6 cost. Let's get rid of one of these 7 costs. He's going to crit a life for us. And let's put him down to 1. So now at 1 life with 2 7Ks on board. Obviously you can turn this into a 5K with leader, which is very strong. But I can almost guarantee lethal if you do not play a blocker, as Robin can banish 1 life and then Big Mom can swing the exact same amount. But he is going to buff himself to 8, which is a little scary. Only good thing, it's only 7, yeah. I don't know why I was thinking 8. We will counter out of the 7, for sure. And then the 6, we will counter out of as well. I think this might be game with the Olivia. Yeah, that's a big draw. So we'll buff Robin to 8, 9, 10, 11. That is going to be 11 to lead. So you are probably taking that. Yeah, there it is. And then we will go 9. And we will go rest on here for game. So that is GG's. Really good showing for the deck for sure. But let's go ahead and get into the final deck list. And I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase of purple and yellow Nico Robin. Very, very fun deck. There's no doubt about it. Definitely an annoying deck for your opponent. Basically denying them of every single one of their life cards and putting them in positions where they need to make really tough decisions, whether they need to crit life or rip cards from hand. It's a really annoying deck to deal with, not to mention the fact that you can just randomly trigger out with a Beige, you know, Brule, even an Onami trigger. Like there's so many good stuff about this deck, and I think it's going to be really, really fun to play. Do not think it's going to be one of the best decks in the meta, though. I think the 4 life is just a bit too risky to actually play with. I think decks like Shanks are really, really solid and destroy decks like this, not to mention Blackbeard. Blackbeards are going to turn off all of your good cards. I think that's the case for all yellow decks, to be honest. But for the most part, this is a really fun leader and a lot of fun to play. So if you guys want to play the list, I will have it linked in the description below. Let me know what OP09 leader you want me to play, if any. Definitely looking at Buggy or Purple Black Luffy. Those two look like a lot of fun. But with that being said, this has been Jim the Awakened TCG. You guys have a great day. I'm going to head out of here. Peace.